So I have concerns. I have
Lay him out.
concerns.
Lay
I
him out. Lay him out.
if you're not are you aware of the plans that Disney's going to build beyond the Thunder Mountain down in Disney World down in Magic Kingdom? Are you aware of
I've
this?
I've heard some smatterings, but I haven't really. I don't really know. So what are they gonna do?
So there's a
Supposedly.
lot of speculation. Obviously, there's nothing written in stone. I don't think anyone knows the answers, but the people who are building it. But I have concerns. I have concerns about what I've heard, and I'm going to share with you what I've heard, and then I'm going to tell you why I have concerns. Let me share where they're talking about, because I think you need to
Okay.
understand that first. So this is Magic Kingdom. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you may know this because this is like the castle, right? All this jargon here.
Yeah.
Liberty Square's over here. And so they're talking about the space that is behind Thunder Mountain. So here's the Thunder Mountain.
Okay.
They're talking about all this space back here they want to play around with. And or the rumors are this is where they're going to put Cars World.
All right.
And then because it fits in with the Frontierland part. And then behind, this is the Haunted Mansion over here.
Okay.
This is going to be where they're going to put in the Villains World. That's the rumor.
All right. Well, I'm a huge fan of the Cars World in Disneyland. I mean, that's the best thing about that park. It is. So if they do that, I'd be for it. And the Villains World, obviously, they're talking about for a long time, right? So why do you have concerns?
I think Pixar belongs in Hollywood Studios. I don't know why. I just have a gut. My gut says Pixar belongs in Hollywood Studios.
Well, why wouldn't they throw that in Hollywood Studios then? I mean, it's a movie. Cars is a movie, right? Like,
Right.
doesn't that? Yeah,
They have like the Pixar esque parade, which I think they should make bigger, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother thing.
yeah.
I want to take you back to 2013.
That's a great year for me. So yeah, let's
I
go.
knew that. I knew that was a great year for you. It was also a great year for Disney
Mm-hmm.
because we got introduced to two individuals who took the world by storm. And they took, and I'm talking about Anna and Elsa. They crushed at the theater, right? They were the number one, I think, animated film gross ever, right?
Yeah.
And all Disney has given us, and in the United States, you got Hong Kong has their whole thing they unveiled in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Disneyland Paris has their World of Frozen coming. I know the pandemic impacted that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all they gave us, all they gave these little kids from 2013, these little boys and girls, and all these fan favorites who love this movie, all they gave us was a flipped log flume. And it's not
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking. I know Fantasyland is huge already, and I think some rides are misplaced in there, but regardless, they need to make the back of that Arendelle. And that's what it needs to be.
Yeah.
That whole backside where Rapunzel's bathroom is, if nestled in between Haunted Mansion and Belle's Belle's little cottage, and then small. That needs to be a thorough way to get to Arendelle.
Mm-hmm.
And
I.
also,
Mm-hmm.
let me just say this: I know you may have not known the movie that well because your boys don't have the fascination with.
No, we kind of missed that. Although I did see every Halloween costume from like 2013 to 2015 was those characters. So
So part of it is it's like a seaport. There's like all these boats and there's like a seaport and all this stuff.
uh-huh.
This is the Twain River right here, yo. This is Mark Twain's where the boat goes. You build that dock right on this water, and you put all that the Arendelle castle and everything. You build that right into here, and then you nestle in Frozen, Elsa's castle in the foreground. Because the
Yeah.
one thing I know that people will be really mad is if anything impacts the sight line of the main castle in Magic Kingdom. People will be
Right.
upset.
Everybody's Christmas card will be ruined. So they
Right.
can't be doing that.
So you got to nestle that. You got to tuck it away, and I know they know how to play with sight lines, and you got to nestle it in so it's, it doesn't just take away from the Christmas card, as you said, or the holiday card. But that's what the fact that they're not making an Arendelle world, if this is true, if these rumors are true, and they're going to put a Cars world in there, which I am excited to experience that in Disneyland in 7 days, because I've never been to Disneyland.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
And they're going to put a villains world in there, which I'm also excited for. I'm not opposed to the villains world. I just don't want it in my Fantasyland. And I understand that people are talking about, well, it makes sense because it's the Haunted Mansion, and the Haunted Mansion is scary, and it's like the scary part of the park. Right. And they want to expand that because Liberty Square doesn't have a lot going on. It doesn't have a lot going on. So it's like, but that doesn't build out Liberty Square having like more haunted, scary villains.
Yeah. I think they just threw like an Ichabod Crane in a window or something. Was that there? I don't know. Like, you can't ride that. It's not a ride. It's just a guy in a window.
Right.
No. But it is kind of funny that if you think about the biggest movie that they had, it was huge. I mean, that song played forever. How do you honor them? I know they have a boat ride at Epcot.
Yeah, it's in Norway. They flipped that troll ride we went on when we were kids.
Oh, I don't even remember the trolls. Yeah.
It's beat for beat the same motion. They didn't change anything in the interior. They just flipped the overlay.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I get it. Like, you wanted to capitalize on that, and you can meet Anna and Elsa there. I think having the meet and greet and having that ride in Norway is fine. It's not, but every person who saw that movie in 2013 wants that immersion, that experience that you and I love, like Harry Potter does, and all those, and Star Wars kind of gets at, to walk through Arendelle and to be in Arendelle and experience Arendelle and have that feeling like, huh, I'm here. I'm in the world of Frozen, know, and then to have that experience, and then to have 2 ticket rides in there, a dark ride, maybe that takes after Frozen 2, the Into the Unknown part, where you go into the unknown and you go through all the elements and you experience them, and Elsa kind of saves you from each one or whatever it is. And then a serious roller coaster, which I think could be modeled after like the Matterhorn, and I think you come off of Elsa's castle and you have to like get away from stuff, or it could even be sort of like a Kristoff and Sven, and he's trying to earn a buck because he's always like looking for an opportunity. He's like, hey, take my bobsled, and it just kind of goes haywire, right? And you kind of go haywire on the ride, and you could use some screen stuff and slow it down at parts like they do on this mine train, like Snow White, and have some animatronics in there too. But I think those things are what people want to experience, and I think, and then you have your smaller, your little shops and things that sort of connect to that world. And I think that's what Hong Kong did. And I think people love it when they go there. I've seen a lot of videos on it, and people are like eating it up when they're there. And I think when Paris gets unveiled, they wanted it open for the Olympics, but it didn't make it because of the pandemic. But when that world opens up in Paris, I think that's going to be, people are going to be like, wow, that's amazing. Why don't we have that in America anywhere? And either park. And I think it's perfect to nestle it in behind fantasy. And I think that's what needs to be there. I don't know. I just feel like it's a wasted opportunity to capitalize on one of your largest IPs. And the rumors they're going to make a third movie, and it's probably going to do just as well as the other 2 did. People love those characters, and they love Olaf. And I don't know, Mick. I really have concerns about them making, like we talked about, like, that the act of them like forcing in this IP that maybe doesn't really hit well or doesn't have the lasting power, but I think Frozen does. And people have a connection to this IP that they love it, and they'll go back to it, and they'll relive these moments with their kids, and they'll be like, oh, when I saw this movie, and it's going to want and encourage them to stay with it, and keep these movies relevant and keep these stories relevant, because people had such a strong connection to it, and they're singing the songs and everything. For, like you said, that song was all over the radio.
Oh
You know,
yeah, I mean it was as big a hit as you could have, like with the song and then the movie and then with the staying power through. Like I said, every little girl I saw was wearing one of those
I
costumes.
mean,
So
look behind
I
me.
think,
Look at these
yeah.
Legos that my daughter has.
Oh,
These
I'm very
there's
familiar.
frozen Legos all behind me.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I really think it's a missed opportunity. And I'll show you this just because this is what some people are projecting, but it just to me, like you have so this is, you could see where the haunted mansion is, right? And
Mhm.
like kind of where Frontierland is and how they would sort of build that out and put in the Cars world. And there's like a rumored like Woody experience as well, because Woody's from that like part, he's like a cowboy. Then that
Sure.
villain's land would take up a lot. But like Liberty Square, I don't know. If you want to build off Liberty Square, then build off Liberty Square. Like build into that, like lean more into that. Because I always thought that the Haunted Mansion was supposed to be part of that like New Orleans feel. But maybe
Yeah,
I'm
I
but maybe I'm crazy.
no, and I mean, getting in the weeds, I think that it's the type of architecture, right? Isn't that because the Haunted Mansion in Disneyland where you're headed is right next to New Orleans Square, but they
Yeah.
built it with that architecture a little bit. Looks like it fits. And I don't know what this Haunted Mansion is supposed to be. Is it like a colonial house? I don't know. But that's neither here nor there. I guess the bottom line is like, well, is it going to happen, and what should it look like, and who should be represented there in a villain's land? I think having Woody kind of pop into Frontierland makes some sense. He's there. I think it is character meet and greets there now, right? Or no? I don't even know.
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
Not in Magic Kingdom. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
does in Hollywood because he has the whole like Toy Story world where you're in like,
Right.
you know, you're in the backyard and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
but there's not a meet and greet moment there. I mean, we were there 2 years ago
Mm-hmm.
with the kids, and there was not an opportunity to meet Woody, Buzz, or Jesse in that part of the park, which I thought was crazy. I was
Your
like,
most famous cowboy, you know?
and you're in there, you're like in the element. You're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
there's not like a meet and greet here. Like, what is going? And maybe they do walkthroughs, but I know that's not a big thing that happens in Florida, like doing the walkarounds.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like, wait a minute, there's
Mm-hmm.
not like a show or a thing, but I don't know. I just really feel like Disney World, Magic Kingdom needs to be where they build Arendelle and
Mm-hmm.
where they put Arendelle in, and they have the water from the Mark Twain to work with to build into that land, to build the port. And then you build the city, you build the Arendelle's, castle, which is right on the water, you know, and you open the door. Not to quote the song, but literally to open the door to Arendelle, and then you walk in and you have that like immersion quality. You get right
Mm-hmm.
into it, and you feel like you're there, and you see Elsa's castle off in the distance, and yeah, and I think there should be like a Matterhorn type ride.
Yeah.
Takes you from Elsa's, you go up to Elsa's castle, and you come back. That's like, and you come off the mountain, and it's either the snow monster is chasing you, or you got the wolves. You can have all kinds of stuff based off that movie, or anything to just
Yeah.
to add to the conflict of the ride. Yeah, and then I think there should be a solid dark ride that takes you through the unknown, as her song suggests. And Elsa's there, kind of battling the elements for you, so you can survive the unknown and get back to Arendelle.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the template is there to take the swing, you know what I mean? With these other parks who've already done it. And you're talking about something that's beloved. So I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of step into that. And and yeah, I'm with you.
Maybe they'll do
It's
it.
it's a good idea.